day, everyone. I'm in the Scottish borders today, visiting Scott's View, associated with Sir Walter Scott. Probably the most famous view in the Scottish borders. We'll go and take a look now, folks. Breathtaking views of Scott's View. His favourite place to sit and reflect was at Beamerside, where the vista opened out to the west, offering breathtaking views over the River Tweed to the Eildon Hills. Scott grew up at nearby Smailholm Tower, and in later life he lived at Abbotsford House. Tradition says that Scott's horses became so accustomed to stopping at the viewpoint on their master's daily outings that they would stop without command when they reached this spot. But what did Scott see from his viewpoint? From the hilltop site, the land drops away to the Tweed Valley, and the landscape of fields and trees stretch away westwards to the historic town of Melrose at the Eildon Hills. Immediately below the viewpoint is an area of semi-natural woodland. Trees here were once used to make coffins. You can also look down on the original site of Melrose Abbey, known as Old Melrose, which occupied a loop in the River Tweed. Just beyond Old Melrose is the site of a Roman fort known as Tremontium. The Eildon Hills are prominent local landmarks formed by volcanic activity and later used by Bronze Age settlers. They are said to be the final resting place of Thomas R. Rymer, a 13th century poet who was granted the gift of prophecy by the fairy people who live in the hills. It is a breathtaking view. Heading there if you want to get here. From the B6404 between Kelso and St Boswells, turn off onto the B6356, following the signs to Dryborough Abbey. After 1 mile, 1.6 km, you will see a signpost to Scott's View on the right. Follow this minor road for another 2 miles and you will come to a free car park for Scott's View. This is it here. Plenty of space to park your car. It is a breathtaking sight. Sir Walter Scott must have had many pleasurable visits up to this view. Well, he did. Beautiful countryside. Outskirts of the hills. Various plaques here. If you do decide to come up, you'll see these information plaques. Rocky view. The Eildon Hills Scott admired are what's left of volcanic activity that stretched across the border 300 million years ago. before the age of the dinosaurs. The hills you can see never reached the surface as true volcanoes. Instead, they were forced as great molten blobs into the rock deep underground. Like jam being squirted into a donut, there they cooled slowly, forming rock much harder than the older rocks above since then. The older rocks have been worn away by rivers and glaciers, leaving the harder rock to form the Eildon Hills. Many of the walls you see around borders fields are made of the hard rock called whinstone. Here's another one you'll see if you come up, Scott's View. Sir Walter Scott loved the borders, landscape, history and people with a passion. He was the most popular writer of his age. When he died, his funeral procession was over a mile long. It took his body from his home at Abbotsford to his tomb in Dryborough Abbey. Down the hill to your left, tradition tells how his horses stopped here on the way, just as they had done when their master was alive, so he could enjoy his favourite view. Breathes there the man with soul so dead, who never to himself hath said, "This is my own, my native land." Sir Walter Scott, The Lay of the Last Minstrel. A little bit of a poem there. Scott's View. And you can see why I love this spot so much. Beautiful landscape there. The hills. Well, that's a little bit of a look at Sir Walter Scott's favourite view, Scott's View. Again, probably the most famous view in the borders. TCSS folks, take care, stay safe. Hope to see you all on the next journey. Bye for now.